Have you ever stopped to ask yourself if the life you're living is truly the life you want? Or are you, unknowingly, living a life shaped by influences and patterns that were programmed into your mind long before you had a say in it? This is a deep and powerful question, one that can lead us to reconsider many of the decisions we make on a daily basis. Most of us like to believe that we are fully in control of our choices, that our desires and ambitions are entirely our own. But when we start to dig a little deeper, we might find that those choices aren't as free as we think they are. Chapter 1. Introduction to Subconscious Programming. From the moment we are born, we're exposed to countless external influences: family, school, friends, the culture around us. All of these forces begin to shape our behavior and worldview, long before we even have the ability to consciously decide who we are or what we believe. Our subconscious mind starts absorbing and storing patterns of behavior, beliefs, and emotional responses almost immediately. Many of these patterns are established in childhood and become deeply ingrained, turning into automatic scripts that we repeat throughout our lives, often without ever realizing that we're following a path we didn't consciously choose. Imagine a child growing up in an environment where they constantly hear phrases like "money is hard to come by" or "you can't trust people." Over time, these messages sink into the subconscious and become core beliefs. Even as that child grows into adulthood, those beliefs continue to guide their thoughts and actions, despite the fact that the adult version of this person might not actively agree with them anymore. They may consciously want to be wealthy, but deep down, the old program still whispers, "Money is hard to come by." They may consciously seek close relationships, but a subconscious voice echoes, "You can't trust people." These old programs, though invisible, shape how they respond to opportunities, challenges, and even relationships, often sabotaging their conscious efforts to live a more fulfilled life. The power of the subconscious mind is immense. It controls about 95% of our actions, while the conscious mind operates only about 5% of the time. This staggering difference means that many of our decisions, attitudes, and automatic reactions are driven by deeply embedded patterns that were programmed into us long before we could understand or control them. Think about it: every time you make a decision, whether it's as simple as what to eat for breakfast or as complex as how to respond in a tense conversation, there's a good chance that decision is being influenced by your subconscious programming. Maybe you've chosen cereal for breakfast because, as a child, that's what your parents served every morning. Maybe you get defensive during a disagreement because, when you were young, you learned that raising your voice was the only way to be heard in your household. These seemingly minor choices and reactions accumulate over time, shaping the course of our lives in ways we rarely stop to consider. The real challenge with subconscious programming is that it's invisible to us. We know we have problems, we know there are areas of our lives that aren't working the way we want, but we can't seem to identify why. For example, someone might consistently struggle with money, despite working hard and following all the right steps. Another person might sabotage every relationship they get into, even though they deeply desire love and connection. The root of these issues often lies in subconscious programming, those deep-seated beliefs and patterns that we can't see but that are running the show from behind the scenes. The difficulty of identifying these programmed patterns is one of the biggest barriers to personal growth. How can we change something we can't see? How can we shift a belief that operates silently, beneath the surface of our awareness? It's like trying to fix a car engine without knowing where the problem is. You might be able to drive for a while, but eventually, the car is going to break down again. This is why so many people find themselves stuck in the same frustrating cycles, repeating the same mistakes, despite their best efforts to change. One of the ways that our subconscious programming exerts its influence is through what can be called autopilot mode. Have you ever driven somewhere and arrived at your destination only to realize you barely remember the drive itself? Your conscious mind was distracted. Maybe you were thinking about an upcoming meeting, or replaying a conversation in your head, while your subconscious took over the task of driving. This is a perfect example of how our subconscious mind steps in to run the show when our conscious mind is occupied elsewhere. And it doesn't just happen with routine tasks like driving, it happens in emotional and social situations as well. For example, you might automatically respond with anger or defensiveness in a conflict, even if you consciously want to remain calm and composed. Or you might find yourself withdrawing from social situations, even though part of you truly wants to engage and connect with others. These are moments when your subconscious programming is running on autopilot, carrying out old patterns that may no longer serve you but that are deeply ingrained. Consider a situation where you're having an argument with a loved one. You might want to handle the situation calmly, but instead, you find yourself reacting with frustration or raising your voice. This reaction could be rooted in a subconscious pattern that was established long ago, perhaps from watching your parents argue in a similar way. Even though, consciously, you want to communicate better, your subconscious mind is still playing out an old script. Another common example is with money. Someone might have a strong conscious desire to improve their financial situation, but they continue to make poor financial decisions. This could be due to deep-seated beliefs about money that were absorbed during childhood, beliefs like money is the root of all evil or rich people are greedy. These beliefs continue to influence their behavior, even though, consciously, they want to adopt new habits and beliefs about wealth. It's important to understand that the subconscious mind isn't trying to sabotage us on purpose. It's simply doing its job, keeping us safe and ensuring that we follow the patterns it learned early on, patterns that it believes are in our best interest. The problem is that many of these patterns were developed in response to situations or environments that no longer exist. What might have been a helpful coping mechanism in childhood can become a roadblock in adulthood. For example, maybe as a child, you learned to stay quiet and avoid conflict because that was the safest way to navigate a tense household. But now, as an adult, that same behavior might prevent you from standing up for yourself or pursuing opportunities that require assertiveness. The subconscious mind doesn't know that the environment has changed, it just keeps running the old program because that's what it knows. Breaking free from this autopilot mode requires us to become more aware of our subconscious programming. We need to start paying attention to our automatic reactions, our recurring thoughts, and the patterns that keep showing up in our lives. This is easier said than done because, by definition, the subconscious operates below the level of conscious awareness. However, there are tools and techniques that can help us bring these patterns to the surface. Practices like mindfulness, meditation, journaling, and therapy can all be helpful in increasing our awareness of the subconscious mind. These practices allow us to slow down, observe our thoughts and reactions, and start to identify the patterns that are holding us back. Once we become aware of these subconscious patterns, we can begin to reprogram them. This is where the real work begins, rewriting the old scripts and replacing them with new, more empowering beliefs and behaviors. This isn't an overnight process, it takes time, patience, and consistent effort. But with practice, it's possible to rewire the subconscious mind and create new patterns that support the life we truly want to live. For example, someone who has always struggled with feelings of unworthiness might begin to practice affirmations or visualization techniques to reprogram their subconscious with a new belief: I am worthy of love and success. Over time, as this new belief takes hold in the subconscious, their behavior will begin to change as well. They may start to take more risks, pursue new opportunities, and engage in healthier relationships, all because their subconscious programming has shifted to align with their conscious desires. The subconscious mind plays a massive role in shaping our lives, often without us even realizing it. Many of the choices we think are our own are actually the result of deeply ingrained patterns and beliefs that were programmed into us long ago. Identifying and changing these patterns is not easy, but it is possible with awareness, effort, and the right tools. By becoming more aware of our subconscious programming and actively working to reprogram it, we can begin to take back control of our lives and create a future that aligns with our true desires. Chapter 2. The Programming Process. The first 7 years of life are an extraordinary period of rapid growth, learning, and adaptation. During these years, a child's subconscious mind is like a sponge, soaking up everything around it: behaviors, language, emotions, beliefs, and attitudes, without filtering any of it. Research has shown that this early stage of life is critical in forming the subconscious programs that will later govern how that child interacts with the world, how they see themselves, and even what they believe is possible for them. From birth until around the age of 7, children predominantly operate in a brainwave state known as theta. Theta brainwaves are typically associated with hypnosis, deep relaxation, and creativity. In adults, theta brainwaves are most often experienced in deep meditation or right before falling asleep, but for children, this is their primary state of consciousness. It allows them to absorb vast amounts of information from their environment with little to no critical thinking or analysis. Essentially, Children in this stage are in a constant state of hypnosis, learning by pure observation, imitation, and absorption, rather than through active questioning or reasoning. Think of it like this: a child in these early years is like a blank canvas. Every interaction, every experience, every word they hear from their parents, caregivers, and surroundings is like a brushstroke on that canvas. And because they are in this highly suggestible theta state, these brushstrokes go deep. They become the foundation upon which the child will build their understanding of the world, their place within it, and their own identity. Parents and caregivers, whether they are aware of it or not, play an enormous role in this programming process. A child growing up in a home where money is always tight and stress around finances is high might internalize beliefs such as money is hard to get, or wealth is not for people like us. On the other hand, a child growing up in a family that frequently talks about abundance and opportunities may develop the belief that wealth is easy to attract, and that success is a natural part of life. This doesn't happen through direct teaching but through the subtle cues that children pick up on: how their parents react when bills come in, the way they talk about their jobs, the emotions they express when discussing the future. All of this becomes part of the child's subconscious program. The role of the theta state is crucial in understanding why children are so impressionable. In this state, their minds are wide open to everything around them. They don't yet have the cognitive ability to question or challenge what they see and hear. They don't stop to think, is this true, or do I agree with this? Instead, they absorb the world as it is presented to them, accepting it as the truth. This is why the early environment of a child is so important. It's not just shaping their conscious mind, but laying down deep subconscious patterns that will influence them for years, if not their entire lives. Consider, for example, the way a child learns about love and relationships. If a child grows up in a home where affection is freely given, where conflicts are resolved with kindness and understanding, and where love is expressed openly, that child will likely grow up believing that love is abundant, relationships are safe, and conflicts can be worked through. However, if a child grows up in a home where love is conditional, perhaps they only receive affection when they behave a certain way, or maybe they witness constant arguing and emotional distance between their parents, they may internalize the belief that love is something that must be earned, that relationships are unstable, or that conflicts lead to rejection. These beliefs then become the subconscious programs that guide the child's behavior as they grow older. A person who subconsciously believes that love is conditional might find themselves constantly seeking validation in relationships, always trying to earn love by pleasing others, even at the expense of their own needs. On the other hand, someone who has internalized the belief that love is abundant may approach relationships with more confidence and security, knowing that they are worthy of love just as they are. One of the most powerful illustrations of this early programming comes from a famous saying attributed to the Jesuits: "Give me a child until he is 7, and I will show you the man." This phrase encapsulates the understanding that the first 7 years of life are critical in shaping who a person will become. It reflects the ancient wisdom that the early influences and teachings we receive as children have a profound and lasting impact on our personalities, beliefs, and behaviors as adults. This idea aligns closely with modern research in neuroscience, particularly in the field of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change and adapt over time. While the brain remains plastic throughout life, the patterns established in those early years are often the most difficult to change, because they are so deeply rooted. The influence of parents and the surrounding community during this critical window cannot be overstated. From the way parents handle stress to the values they express, children are constantly observing and absorbing. And it's not just what parents say that matters, it's how they act, how they treat others, and how they handle life's challenges. For example, a parent might tell their child that they should always be kind to others, but if that same parent frequently speaks harshly about people behind their backs, the child will internalize a conflicting message: that kindness is not always genuine, and that it's okay to treat people differently when they're not around. This also extends to beliefs about success, failure, and personal worth. Imagine a child who watches their parents consistently work hard, strive for goals, and remain optimistic even in the face of setbacks. That child is likely to develop a subconscious belief that success is achieved through effort and resilience. Contrast this with a child who observes their parents giving up easily or blaming external circumstances for their failures. This child may grow up with the belief that success is out of their control, or that failure is something to be feared and avoided at all costs. The community at large, whether that be extended family, neighbors, teachers, or even cultural norms, also contributes to this programming. Children pick up on the values and expectations of the larger society they are a part of. For instance, a child raised in a culture that values education and intellectual achievement will likely internalize the belief that knowledge and learning are important, whereas a child raised in an environment that emphasizes material success above all else may come to believe that wealth is the ultimate measure of worth. This early programming can sometimes feel like an invisible force guiding our actions and reactions as adults. Many people go through life unaware of the extent to which their childhood environment shaped their beliefs and behaviors. They might find themselves stuck in patterns of behavior, struggling with finances, relationships, or self-worth, without ever realizing that these struggles stem from deeply ingrained subconscious programs that were established long before they had the ability to choose their own beliefs. It's important to recognize that this programming is not set in stone. While the early years are undeniably formative, and while these subconscious patterns can be difficult to change, they are not impossible to rewrite. As adults, we can begin to challenge the beliefs we inherited from our childhood and consciously choose new patterns that better serve us. However, the first step in this process is awareness, becoming aware of the subconscious programs that are running our lives and understanding where they came from. Only then can we begin the work of reprogramming our minds, replacing outdated beliefs with new ones that reflect the person we truly want to be. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Your subscription helps us keep creating content with love and dedication. Chapter 3. The Impact of Subconscious Programs on Adult Life. As we grow into adulthood, it's easy to think that we've outgrown the influences of our childhood. We believe we've become independent thinkers, making our own decisions and charting our own paths. But the truth is, unless we've actively worked to change them, the subconscious programs that were created in our early years are still running the show. These patterns of thought, belief, and behavior, ingrained so deeply in our subconscious mind, continue to influence our daily lives in ways we might not even recognize. Consider how many times you've found yourself reacting to a situation in a way that feels automatic, almost like you're on autopilot. Perhaps you've tried to break a bad habit or change a particular behavior, but no matter how much willpower you exert, you end up falling back into the same old patterns. This is because the subconscious mind, with its deep-seated programs, governs about 95% of our daily actions and reactions. The conscious mind, the part of you that wants to make changes and solve problems, only controls about 5% of your behaviors. That means for the majority of the time, your subconscious is calling the shots, relying on the programs that were developed long ago, often during childhood. Imagine a person who grew up in a household where emotions were not openly expressed, and vulnerability was seen as a weakness. Even as an adult, this person may find it difficult to connect deeply with others, afraid of showing their true emotions or opening up in relationships. No matter how much they consciously desire intimacy and connection, their subconscious program may cause them to shut down emotionally, out of fear of being perceived as weak. They might not even be aware of this, because to them, this reaction feels normal. It's simply the way they've always behaved, and they don't realize it's part of an old script that no longer serves them. Another common example is in the realm of financial habits. Someone who grew up with parents who constantly struggled with money might have internalized beliefs like, money is scarce, or, people like us never get ahead financially. Even if this person consciously wants to be successful and wealthy, their subconscious program may be holding them back, causing them to make self-sabotaging decisions, like overspending, avoiding financial risks, or failing to invest in themselves. Despite their best efforts, they may find themselves stuck in the same financial rut, unaware that their subconscious beliefs are shaping their reality. The subconscious mind is powerful and efficient, but it's not creative. It operates on repetition, executing the same patterns over and over again because that's what it knows. It's like a computer running the same software, even if the program is outdated or no longer useful. Without intervention, these subconscious patterns continue to guide our actions, reactions, and perceptions well into adulthood, even when they no longer align with the life we consciously want to create. Now, you might wonder, if the subconscious is so powerful, why can't the conscious mind just step in and take control? The answer lies in how the two parts of the mind function. The conscious mind is indeed creative, It's where we solve problems, set goals, and imagine new possibilities for our lives. However, it's limited in how much time it can actually control. The conscious mind is easily distracted, constantly thinking about the past, planning for the future, or getting lost in daydreams. Meanwhile, the subconscious mind is always running in the background, taking over whenever the conscious mind is preoccupied. This is why, even though you may consciously want to make different choices, your subconscious often overrides those intentions and pulls you back into familiar patterns. For example, let's say you consciously decide to adopt healthier eating habits. You start the day with determination, planning to make better food choices. But as soon as your mind becomes distracted, maybe you're stressed about work or caught up in a personal issue, your subconscious kicks in and guides you toward the comfort foods you've always turned to. You might not even realize it until later, when you're left wondering, why did I eat that? The conscious mind had a plan, but the subconscious mind had a program, and the program won out. This constant interplay between the conscious and subconscious mind also affects our physical health. The relationship between thoughts, emotions, and the body is well documented in scientific research. Negative thoughts and emotions, many of which are rooted in subconscious beliefs, can trigger the release of stress hormones like cortisol. High levels of cortisol over time can suppress the immune system, increase blood pressure, and contribute to a range of chronic health issues, including anxiety, depression, heart disease, and even diabetes. Imagine someone who, deep down, believes that the world is a dangerous place and that they are constantly under threat. This belief may have been formed in childhood, perhaps from growing up in a chaotic or unsafe environment. Even as an adult, when their external environment is safe, their subconscious mind may still trigger a constant state of hypervigilance and stress. Over time, this prolonged stress response can wear down the body, leading to chronic fatigue, immune system dysfunction, and other health problems. This person may seek medical treatment for their symptoms, but unless they address the underlying subconscious beliefs that are keeping their body in a state of constant stress, true healing may be elusive. On the flip side, positive thoughts and emotions can have a profound impact on our physical well-being. Studies have shown that practices like mindfulness, meditation, and positive visualization can reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and even promote healing in the body. When we consciously cultivate positive beliefs and emotions, we can begin to counteract the negative effects of subconscious programming. For instance, someone who actively practices gratitude and focuses on positive outcomes can lower their cortisol levels, boost their immune system, and increase their overall sense of well-being. But the influence of the subconscious mind doesn't stop with our thoughts and emotions. It also extends to the very core of who we are, our genetic makeup. This brings us to the fascinating field of epigenetics, which studies how environmental factors and mental states can influence gene expression without altering the DNA sequence itself. For decades, we were taught that we are victims of our genes, that our DNA determines everything from our physical appearance to our likelihood of developing certain diseases. However, the science of epigenetics has shown us that this is not entirely true. Epigenetics reveals that the environment we live in, both our external environment and our internal environment of thoughts and emotions, can switch certain genes on or off. This means that even if you have a genetic predisposition for a particular condition, like heart disease or cancer, it's not a guaranteed fate. The way you live your life, the beliefs you hold, the stress you experience, and the emotions you cultivate can all influence whether those genes are expressed or not. Consider someone who has a family history of heart disease. If they live a life filled with chronic stress, poor dietary habits, and negative thought patterns, they may increase the likelihood that their genetic predisposition will manifest as heart disease. However, if that same person practices stress management, adopts a healthy lifestyle, and nurtures positive beliefs about their health and well-being, they may be able to prevent or significantly delay the onset of the condition. This concept is incredibly empowering because it means that we are not at the mercy of our genes. We have the ability to influence our health and our destiny through the choices we make, the environment we create for ourselves, and, most importantly, the beliefs we hold in our subconscious mind. By reprogramming our subconscious with positive, life-affirming beliefs, we can literally change the course of our lives, both physically and mentally. The impact of subconscious programming on adult life is profound. These deep-seated patterns continue to shape our behaviors, thoughts, emotions, and even our physical health, often without us realizing it. The good news is that we are not powerless in the face of these programs. Through conscious awareness, we can begin to identify the subconscious patterns that no longer serve us and replace them with new, empowering beliefs. This process requires time, effort, and consistency, but it's a journey well worth taking. By reprogramming our subconscious mind, we can reclaim control over our lives and create a future that aligns with our true potential. Chapter 4. The Importance of Reprogramming the Subconscious. Changing habits is a challenge most of us are familiar with. We set our minds on a new goal, whether it's to exercise more, eat healthier, be more productive, or break free from negative behaviors, and yet, despite our best efforts, we often find ourselves slipping back into the same old routines. It can feel frustrating, as though there's a constant battle going on between what we consciously want and what we end up doing. This struggle is rooted in the fundamental tension between the conscious mind, which sets new goals and desires, and the subconscious mind, which is deeply attached to old patterns of behavior. The conscious mind is responsible for our intentions and goals. When we make a decision to improve some area of our lives, it's the conscious mind at work, visualizing the changes we want to see. The problem is that the subconscious mind, which governs about 95% of our daily actions, operates based on the programs it has stored over the years. These programs were usually created in childhood, and they function automatically. When the subconscious mind encounters a new behavior or goal that conflicts with its established patterns, it resists. It's like trying to rewrite software that's been running smoothly, at least from the subconscious's perspective, for decades. No wonder change feels difficult. Imagine someone who has decided to lose weight. Consciously, they know they need to eat better, exercise regularly, and manage stress. But if they grew up in an environment where food was used as a comfort or reward, their subconscious mind might still associate eating with emotional safety and satisfaction. So, even though they may start the day with the intention of sticking to a healthy diet, by the time they feel stressed or overwhelmed, their subconscious mind takes over, and they find themselves reaching for comfort food. The struggle between conscious desires and subconscious programming is what makes changing habits feel like an uphill battle. This is where the power of reprogramming the subconscious comes into play. To create lasting change, we need to go beyond just setting conscious goals. We need to address the underlying subconscious beliefs and patterns that are driving our behavior. When we align our subconscious programs with our conscious desires, that's when real transformation happens. This alignment allows us to break free from the cycles of self-sabotage and resistance, and move toward the life we truly want to live. Reprogramming the subconscious mind involves changing the beliefs and patterns that are stored deep within us. This isn't something that happens overnight, and it requires consistent effort. However, the results can be life-changing. Imagine how different life would be if your subconscious beliefs about money, relationships, health, and success were in alignment with your conscious goals. Instead of feeling like you're constantly battling yourself, you would experience flow, where your actions, thoughts, and desires are working together toward a common goal. Take, for example, someone who has struggled with feelings of unworthiness for most of their life. Perhaps this person grew up in an environment where love and validation were conditional. They had to achieve something or behave a certain way to receive praise or affection. As an adult, they might find themselves constantly seeking approval from others, whether in relationships or at work, but no matter how much validation they receive, it never feels like enough. This is because their subconscious mind is running an old program that says, "You're not enough unless you do something to earn it." Through the process of reprogramming the subconscious, this person can begin to change that belief. They might work with affirmations, visualization, or other techniques to install a new belief: "I am worthy of love and success just as I am." Over time, as this new belief takes root in the subconscious, their behavior begins to change as well. They might stop seeking external validation and start valuing themselves from within. They may find that they no longer feel the need to overwork themselves to prove their worth, and they might attract healthier, more supportive relationships because they now believe they deserve them. This transformation is profound because it changes the way a person experiences life. Instead of living from a place of scarcity or fear, always feeling like they need to prove themselves or fearing rejection, they begin to live from a place of abundance and confidence. This kind of change can affect every area of life, from relationships to career to health. There are countless examples of people who have transformed their lives through the reprogramming of their subconscious mind. One well-known case is that of Jim Carrey, the actor and comedian. Before he became famous, Carrey famously wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered and dated it for several years in the future. He kept that check in his wallet as a symbol of his belief in his own success. Carrey didn't just rely on hope, he actively worked to reprogram his subconscious mind to believe that he would become a successful actor. He visualized his success, affirmed it, and aligned his actions with that belief. Eventually, his subconscious belief in his own worth and success became a reality, and he did, in fact, earn millions for his roles in movies. Another powerful example comes from the world of health and healing. There are numerous cases of people who have overcome chronic illnesses by changing their subconscious beliefs about their health. Take the story of Anita Murjani, who was diagnosed with terminal cancer. After battling the disease for years, her organs began to fail, and she slipped into a coma. During that time, she had a near-death experience where she realized that her illness was largely the result of her subconscious beliefs, particularly her deep-seated fear of not being good enough and her tendency to please others at the expense of herself. Upon waking from the coma, Murjani experienced a profound shift in her beliefs. She began to see herself as worthy of love and health, and within weeks, her cancer began to heal. Doctors were baffled by her recovery, but Murjani credits it to the shift in her subconscious beliefs. Stories like these illustrate the incredible power of reprogramming the subconscious mind. When we change the programs that are running beneath the surface, we change our entire experience of life. This isn't just about achieving success or overcoming illness, it's about transforming the way we see ourselves and the world. It's about stepping into a new reality where our beliefs, thoughts, and actions are all aligned, creating a sense of ease and flow in life. One of the key components of reprogramming the subconscious is repetition. Just as our old beliefs were programmed into us through repeated experiences and messages, we can install new beliefs by consistently repeating new thoughts and behaviors. Affirmations are a powerful tool in this process. By repeating positive affirmations that reflect the beliefs we want to install in our subconscious, we begin to overwrite the old programs. Visualization is another effective technique. By vividly imagining the life we want to create and feeling the emotions associated with it, we can start to convince the subconscious mind that this new reality is possible. However, reprogramming the subconscious isn't just about repeating positive statements or visualizing success. It also involves addressing the emotional roots of our old beliefs. Often, our subconscious programs are tied to unresolved emotions from the past: fear, shame, anger, or sadness. To truly transform our subconscious, we need to process and release these emotions. This might involve working with a therapist, practicing mindfulness, or engaging in emotional healing techniques like tapping, EFT, or somatic experiencing. Ultimately, reprogramming the subconscious mind is a journey of self-discovery and personal growth. It requires us to become aware of the patterns that have been shaping our lives and to take responsibility for changing them. But the rewards are immense. By aligning our subconscious beliefs with our conscious desires, we unlock new levels of success, health, and happiness. We begin to live from a place of empowerment, where we are no longer controlled by old programs, but instead, are consciously creating the life we want to live. This process of reprogramming isn't just for those seeking to overcome major challenges, it's for anyone who wants to live a more fulfilling and authentic life. Whether it's improving relationships, achieving career goals, or simply feeling more at peace with oneself, the power to transform lies within us, in the subconscious mind. And by taking the time to reprogram that mind, we can unlock a future full of possibilities that we might have once thought were out of reach. Chapter 5. Methods for Subconscious Reprogramming. Reprogramming the subconscious mind can unlock incredible potential, and there are numerous methods to do so. Each method taps into different aspects of the mind-body connection, allowing for a holistic approach to shifting beliefs and patterns that no longer serve us. These methods are designed to work directly with the subconscious mind, often bypassing the resistance of the conscious mind. The goal is to create lasting change by instilling new, empowering beliefs that align with our desires. Let's explore some of the most effective techniques. Method 1. Hypnosis. Hypnosis is one of the most powerful tools for reprogramming the subconscious mind because it works directly with the part of the mind that holds our deeply ingrained beliefs. When in a hypnotic state, the mind is highly suggestible, making it easier to implant new beliefs and behaviors. There are many forms of hypnosis, but one of the most accessible is self-hypnosis, which can be practiced regularly and even during sleep. Self-hypnosis, reprogramming while you sleep. Self-hypnosis allows individuals to reprogram their subconscious mind without needing the assistance of a professional hypnotist. This practice is particularly effective during sleep, when the conscious mind is inactive, and the subconscious mind is more open to suggestions. One common technique involves listening to recordings of positive affirmations or guided meditations designed to address specific areas of life, such as confidence, health, or relationships. For example, someone who wants to overcome feelings of inadequacy might listen to a recording that repeatedly affirms statements like, "I am worthy of love and respect," or "I am confident in my abilities." These affirmations are absorbed by the subconscious mind, which gradually begins to replace the old, limiting beliefs with new, empowering ones. Practicing self-hypnosis with audio recordings. Using audio recordings for self-hypnosis is a straightforward way to start the reprogramming process. Many people find it helpful to listen to these recordings at night, just before falling asleep, because the subconscious mind is particularly receptive during this time. By choosing recordings that focus on the areas they wish to change, individuals can tailor the reprogramming process to their specific needs. For instance, someone who struggles with anxiety might listen to a guided hypnosis recording that focuses on calming the mind, releasing tension, and cultivating a sense of peace. Over time, this practice can help rewire the subconscious mind to respond to stress in a healthier, more balanced way. The key to success with self-hypnosis is repetition. Just as the subconscious was programmed over time, it requires consistent reinforcement to reprogram. Method 2: Repetition and habit formation. Repetition is a fundamental aspect of reprogramming the subconscious mind. The more we repeat a thought or behavior, the more deeply ingrained it becomes. This method involves consciously practicing new habits and behaviors until they become automatic, essentially training the subconscious mind to accept them as the new norm. The power of conscious repetition. Conscious repetition involves deliberately practicing new behaviors or affirmations until they are embedded in the subconscious mind. For example, someone who wants to feel more confident might repeatedly say to themselves, "I am confident and capable," several times throughout the day. Initially, this may feel unnatural or forced, but over time, the repetition helps to install this belief in the subconscious. This is the same principle that athletes or musicians use to master their craft. By repeatedly practicing specific movements or skills, they eventually reach a point where these actions become second nature. Whether it's playing an instrument, driving a car, or engaging in social situations, repetition helps to automate these behaviors, allowing the subconscious mind to take over. Practical examples of repetition in daily life. Repetition can be applied to nearly any area of life. For example, someone who wants to improve their public speaking skills might practice speaking in front of a mirror every day. At first, they may feel awkward and uncomfortable, but with consistent practice, the process becomes smoother and more natural. Eventually, the subconscious mind accepts public speaking as a comfortable and familiar activity, rather than something to fear. Another example is in the workplace. An employee who struggles with organization might start by consciously creating and following a daily to-do list. Initially, this might feel like a chore, but over time, the habit of organizing tasks becomes automatic. The subconscious mind adapts to this new behavior, and the individual no longer has to exert conscious effort to stay organized. It becomes second nature. Method 3: Energy psychology. Energy psychology is a relatively new and emerging field that combines traditional psychological practices with an understanding of the body's energy systems. Techniques such as EFT, emotional freedom technique, tapping, and other energy modalities focus on reprogramming the subconscious by addressing the body's meridian system. These methods have gained popularity due to their ability to bring about rapid change, often in minutes rather than weeks or months. The rise of energy psychology, a new approach to rapid reprogramming. Energy psychology works by tapping into the body's energy system to release emotional blockages and reprogram limiting beliefs. One of the most popular techniques is EFT, which involves tapping on specific points on the body while focusing on a particular issue or belief. This process helps to release the emotional charge associated with the belief, allowing the subconscious mind to let go of it. For example, someone who has a deep fear of public speaking might use tapping to address the fear. While tapping on meridian points, they might say something like, "Even though I'm afraid of speaking in public, I deeply and completely accept myself." As they continue tapping, the emotional intensity of the fear begins to diminish, and the subconscious mind starts to release the belief that public speaking is something to fear. Over time, this practice can lead to a significant reduction in anxiety around public speaking. Superlearning, rapid reprogramming techniques. Superlearning techniques allow for accelerated reprogramming of the subconscious mind. These methods involve entering a highly relaxed and focused state, similar to the theta brainwave state, where the mind becomes extremely receptive to new information. In this state, new beliefs and patterns can be installed quickly, often in a matter of minutes. One example of superlearning is the use of guided imagery combined with relaxation techniques. An individual might be guided through a visualization where they see themselves achieving a specific goal, such as excelling in a new job or healing from a past trauma. In this deeply relaxed state, the subconscious mind accepts these new images as reality, effectively reprogramming old beliefs and creating new neural pathways that support the desired outcome. Examples of energy psychology modalities. Energy psychology includes a variety of techniques, each designed to target different aspects of the subconscious mind. Psych-K is one such modality that involves muscle testing and the balancing of beliefs. It works by identifying limiting beliefs and then using specific processes to balance the mind and body, allowing the subconscious to adopt new, empowering beliefs. Another popular technique is EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, which is commonly used to help people process and heal from trauma. EMDR works by stimulating the brain's natural ability to process memories and emotions through bilateral stimulation, such as guided eye movements. This technique helps to reprogram the emotional response to traumatic memories, allowing the individual to heal and move forward. Tapping, or EFT, is another powerful tool in energy psychology. It's often used to address a wide range of issues, from anxiety and depression to self-esteem and financial abundance. By tapping on specific meridian points while focusing on an issue, the individual can release the emotional energy associated with it, allowing the subconscious mind to let go of limiting beliefs and adopt new, positive ones. For example, someone who struggles with low self-esteem might use tapping to address the belief that they are not good enough. As they tap on meridian points, they might say, "Even though I don't feel worthy, I deeply love and accept myself." Over time, this practice helps to release the underlying emotional blockages, allowing the subconscious mind to embrace a new belief in their self-worth. Energy psychology offers a powerful way to rapidly reprogram the subconscious mind, often achieving results that would take months or even years using traditional methods. By addressing both the mind and the body's energy system, these techniques facilitate deep healing and transformation. Ultimately, reprogramming the subconscious mind is about creating a new reality, one that aligns with your conscious desires and goals. Whether through hypnosis, repetition, or energy psychology, the key is to approach the subconscious mind with consistency, patience, and openness. As we install new beliefs, we begin to see shifts in our external world, reflecting the transformation that has taken place within. Chapter 6. Applications in health, relationships, and lifestyle. The power of the subconscious mind goes far beyond influencing just our thoughts and emotions. It touches almost every aspect of our lives, from our health to our relationships, and even the way we navigate our day-to-day existence. The beliefs and patterns ingrained in us from early childhood can have profound effects on how we deal with the world, both physically and emotionally. These subconscious programs often operate in the background, directing our responses, shaping our habits, and impacting our overall well-being. Reprogramming these deep-seated beliefs offers us a chance to heal, grow, and live more fulfilling lives. When it comes to health, the connection between the mind and body is undeniable. Many of our physical ailments are not just the result of external factors like genetics or lifestyle choices but are also driven by the subconscious mind. Stress, for example, is one of the most common contributors to chronic diseases such as heart problems, high blood pressure, and autoimmune disorders. What's interesting is that this stress often originates from subconscious beliefs, such as feeling unsafe, unworthy, or constantly under pressure to meet certain expectations. These subconscious stress triggers can lead to the constant release of cortisol, the body's stress hormone, which over time weakens the immune system and leads to various health issues. For example, someone who grew up in a household where financial instability was a constant concern may have internalized the belief that life is uncertain and stressful. As an adult, even if they are financially stable, their subconscious mind may still be operating under the old program, triggering stress responses in situations that seem harmless on the surface. Over time, this subconscious stress can manifest as anxiety, digestive problems, or even cardiovascular issues. On the other hand, reprogramming the subconscious mind can have a healing effect on the body. There are numerous documented cases of people who have experienced significant improvements in their health, sometimes even spontaneous recoveries, after addressing the subconscious beliefs that were keeping them unwell. One powerful example is the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, who teaches people how to heal themselves by changing their subconscious thoughts and beliefs through meditation and visualization. His research and experiences have shown that when people can access and reprogram the subconscious mind, they can create measurable changes in their physical health, including the reversal of chronic conditions. Similarly, trauma from childhood plays a profound role in shaping our adult lives, particularly in terms of emotional responses and behaviors. Childhood trauma, whether it's from neglect, abuse, or even less obvious forms of emotional deprivation, creates deep wounds in the subconscious mind. These traumas often manifest as self-sabotaging behaviors, anxiety, depression, or difficulty forming healthy relationships. For example, someone who experienced abandonment as a child may develop a subconscious belief that they are not worthy of love or that relationships inevitably lead to pain. As a result, they may either avoid intimacy altogether or unconsciously choose partners who reinforce this belief by treating them poorly. Even when consciously seeking love and connection, their subconscious mind may continue to sabotage their efforts because it's running on an old program that was designed to protect them from being hurt again. Healing from childhood trauma often requires reprogramming the subconscious mind to release these outdated beliefs and replace them with healthier, more empowering ones. Techniques such as EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, and EFT, emotional freedom technique, also known as tapping, have been particularly effective in helping people reprocess traumatic memories and release the emotional charge associated with them. By doing this work, individuals can reprogram their subconscious to create new beliefs, such as I am worthy of love, or I am safe in relationships, which in turn allows them to attract healthier relationships and experience emotional freedom. The influence of the subconscious mind is particularly evident in romantic relationships. Many of the relationship patterns we see in adulthood are a direct reflection of the subconscious programs we inherited from our parents or caregivers. If a person grew up in a household where conflict was avoided at all costs, they may subconsciously believe that expressing their true feelings in a relationship will lead to rejection or abandonment. As a result, they may suppress their emotions, leading to resentment and distance in their romantic relationships. On the other hand, someone who grew up witnessing constant fighting between their parents may develop a subconscious belief that relationships are inherently chaotic and full of conflict. This belief might cause them to unconsciously seek out partners who fulfill this expectation, leading to a cycle of toxic or unhealthy relationships. Reprogramming these subconscious beliefs can have a transformative effect on relationships. By becoming aware of the old patterns that are driving their behavior, individuals can consciously choose to replace them with new beliefs that support healthier and more fulfilling connections. For instance, someone who has always believed that they are unworthy of love can begin to reprogram their mind to believe that they are deserving of a loving, supportive partner. Over time, this new belief will influence their behavior, causing them to set healthier boundaries, communicate more openly, and attract partners who treat them with respect and care. Parents also play a critical role in shaping the subconscious minds of their children, and this offers a unique opportunity to help break negative patterns before they become deeply ingrained. Many parents, often unknowingly, pass on their own limiting beliefs to their children, whether it's about money, love, success, or self-worth. For example, a parent who constantly worries about financial security may unintentionally instill in their child the belief that money is scarce and difficult to come by. This belief can carry into adulthood, where it may cause the child to develop a scarcity mindset, making it difficult for them to achieve financial success, no matter how hard they try. However, with conscious effort, parents can help reprogram their children's beliefs to be more positive and empowering. One effective strategy is to consciously model the behaviors and beliefs they want their children to adopt. For instance, instead of expressing fear or anxiety around money, parents can focus on teaching their children about abundance, gratitude, and the importance of giving. Another approach is to introduce positive affirmations and encourage their children to adopt them at an early age. Simple statements like "I am smart," "I am capable," or "I am loved" can go a long way in building a child's self-esteem and setting them up for a future filled with confidence and self-worth. Moreover, parents can guide their children through visualizations and mindfulness exercises that teach them to envision positive outcomes and manage stress in healthy ways. By incorporating these practices into daily routines, parents can help their children develop a resilient subconscious program that empowers them to navigate the challenges of life with confidence and grace. In the end, reprogramming the subconscious mind has the potential to create profound changes in every area of life, from health to relationships to overall happiness. Whether you are working to heal from childhood trauma, improve your physical health, or create more fulfilling relationships, addressing the subconscious mind is key. By changing the beliefs and patterns that drive your behavior, you can transform your life in ways that once seemed impossible. Chapter 7. The Path to Happiness and Fulfillment. Happiness is often seen as something that happens to us, an outcome of favorable circumstances or external events. We win a promotion, we fall in love, we achieve a goal, and then we feel happy. But what if happiness was not just a reaction to external events, but a conscious choice we could make regardless of the circumstances? This idea challenges the traditional view of happiness as something that is bestowed upon us by life's events and suggests instead that happiness is an internal state, something we can cultivate deliberately, through our mindset, our habits, and perhaps most importantly, through the reprogramming of our subconscious mind. The notion that happiness is a choice is powerful because it puts the control back in our hands. Instead of being at the mercy of external forces, we can decide to prioritize happiness in our daily lives. But making that choice, especially when faced with challenges, is not always easy. Our subconscious mind, filled with old programs and patterns, often resists this shift. Many of us have deeply ingrained beliefs that tell us we need certain conditions to be happy, whether it's more money, a better relationship, or success in our careers. These subconscious programs keep us locked in a cycle of waiting for happiness to arrive, instead of realizing that we have the power to choose it now. One of the key ways to begin reprogramming the subconscious mind to embrace happiness as a choice is through daily practices that reinforce this belief. Affirmations are a simple yet powerful tool for this purpose. By repeating positive statements like "I choose to be happy," or "happiness is available to me in every moment," we begin to overwrite the old belief that happiness is something we need to chase or earn. Over time, these new beliefs take root in the subconscious, and we begin to experience happiness as an internal state that doesn't depend on what's happening outside of us. Another powerful practice is gratitude. Gratitude shifts our focus away from what's lacking in our lives and redirects it towards what is abundant. It helps us appreciate the small, everyday moments that we might otherwise overlook. By making gratitude a daily habit, we train our subconscious mind to see life through a lens of abundance and joy rather than scarcity and lack. For example, someone might begin each day by writing down 3 things they are grateful for. Over time, this simple practice can rewire the subconscious mind to focus more on what's good in life, which in turn cultivates a deeper sense of happiness and fulfillment. Happiness, as a conscious choice, also requires us to become more aware of our thoughts. The thoughts we think on a regular basis create our emotional state, and many of these thoughts are influenced by our subconscious programs. If we constantly think negative, self-defeating thoughts, it's no surprise that we feel unhappy, even if our external circumstances seem fine. Mindfulness and meditation are practices that can help us become more aware of our thoughts, allowing us to catch those negative patterns before they spiral out of control. Through consistent mindfulness practice, we learn to observe our thoughts without judgment and gently guide them back to a more positive, constructive place. The connection between happiness and consciousness is closely linked to the idea that we create our reality with our thoughts and intentions. This concept, which is supported by findings in quantum physics, suggests that our consciousness plays a direct role in shaping the reality around us. According to the principles of quantum mechanics, particles exist in a state of probability until they are observed, at which point they collapse into a specific state. In a similar way, our thoughts and intentions can influence the outcomes we experience in our lives. When we focus our consciousness on positive outcomes, whether it's happiness, success, or well-being, we help to bring those outcomes into reality. This concept is sometimes difficult to grasp because we're so used to thinking of reality as something fixed and external. But when we consider that our perception of reality is shaped by our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, it becomes clear that we have more influence over our lives than we might realize. For example, two people could experience the exact same event, let's say losing a job, and have completely different reactions. One person might see it as a disaster, a confirmation of their belief that they are unlucky or unsuccessful. The other person might see it as an opportunity, a chance to pursue a new career path that's more aligned with their passions. The event itself hasn't changed, but the way it is experienced is entirely dependent on the individual's perception, which is shaped by their subconscious beliefs. By consciously choosing to focus on positive outcomes, we can begin to shift the reality we experience. This is where practices like visualization come into play. Visualization involves mentally rehearsing a desired outcome, seeing it clearly in your mind as if it has already happened. This practice not only helps to reprogram the subconscious mind to believe that the outcome is possible, but it also helps to align our actions and behaviors with that outcome. For example, someone who visualizes themselves as happy and successful every day is more likely to take actions that lead to happiness and success, because their subconscious mind has been programmed to expect these results. Incorporating these practices into daily life is crucial for maintaining a positive mindset and creating a life that feels fulfilling and joyful. One simple but effective practice is setting intentions at the beginning of each day. These intentions can be as specific or as broad as you like, but the key is to consciously direct your energy towards what you want to experience. For example, you might set an intention to approach the day with gratitude, to be patient with yourself and others, or to focus on solutions instead of problems. Setting an intention helps to guide your thoughts and actions throughout the day, making it more likely that you will experience the outcomes you desire. Another daily practice that supports a positive mindset is meditation. Meditation helps to calm the mind, reduce stress, and create a sense of inner peace. It's a powerful way to connect with your inner self and tune into the deeper currents of your subconscious mind. By practicing meditation regularly, you can train your mind to become more focused, more present, and less reactive to external circumstances. This sense of inner calm makes it easier to choose happiness, even in difficult situations, because you are no longer so easily swayed by the ups and downs of life. Affirmations, visualization, gratitude, and meditation are all tools that help to reprogram the subconscious mind and align it with a more positive, fulfilling reality. But it's important to remember that consistency is key. Just as old beliefs and habits were formed over time through repetition, new beliefs and habits need to be reinforced consistently in order to take root. That's why it's important to make these practices a part of your daily routine, rather than something you do occasionally. For example, a person who struggles with self-doubt might make it a daily habit to repeat affirmations like, "I am confident," and "I believe in my abilities." Over time, these affirmations begin to overwrite the old belief that they are not good enough, and they start to feel more confident in their daily life. They might also practice visualization, seeing themselves succeeding in various situations, whether it's at work, in relationships, or in personal projects. As they continue to visualize success and affirm their confidence, they begin to notice that their actions align with these new beliefs. They take more risks, speak up more in meetings, and approach challenges with a greater sense of self-assurance. Likewise, a person who wants to cultivate more happiness in their life might start by practicing gratitude every morning. They could write down 3 things they are grateful for, no matter how small. This simple act helps to shift their focus away from what's missing in their life and towards what is already good. As they continue this practice, they start to notice that their overall mood improves, and they feel more content, even when things don't go perfectly. Ultimately, the path to happiness and fulfillment is one that we create through our thoughts, beliefs, and daily practices. It's a journey of consciously choosing to focus on the positive, to cultivate gratitude, to visualize success, and to reaffirm our worth. By taking control of our subconscious mind and aligning it with our conscious desires, we can create a life that feels deeply satisfying, no matter what challenges we may face. Creating a life filled with happiness, purpose, and love is often seen as an elusive goal, something reserved for a lucky few or a distant dream. However, the truth is that we all have the power to create our own version of heaven on earth through the reprogramming of our subconscious minds. The beliefs and patterns that have guided us up to this point do not have to define our future. By becoming aware of the programs that have been running silently in the background of our lives, we can choose to replace them with new, empowering beliefs that align with our deepest desires. Imagine living a life where you are no longer held back by fears, doubts, or limiting beliefs. Picture waking up each day feeling connected to your purpose, knowing that you are capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. This is not some far-fetched fantasy, it is entirely possible when we take the time to consciously reprogram the subconscious. The process of reprogramming involves consistent effort and a commitment to self-growth, but the rewards are immense. As we align our subconscious with our conscious intentions, we begin to experience profound changes not only in our external circumstances but also in our internal sense of peace and fulfillment. The beauty of this journey is that it is entirely within our control. We can actively create a life filled with joy, purpose, and love by changing the way we think, believe, and feel. In doing so, we bring ourselves closer to living in harmony with our true selves and experiencing a life that feels like heaven on earth. Through the power of the mind, we are not just passive participants in life, we are the creators of our reality, shaping it with each thought and belief we choose to embrace. Thank you for sticking with us until the end. Your likes and subscription are very important to us. Help us keep the Books Project alive and continue delivering high-quality content. Wishing you peace, and see you next time.